Grid is down nationwide. This isn't a grid is down nationwide. This isn't a blackout. It's an EMP attack, and life as you know it just ended in milliseconds. Most people would panic. But what if I told you that right now in your house, you probably have items that would still work perfectly? Simple household items that cost under $20 each, but could mean the difference between thriving and barely surviving when everything else fails. Today, I'm revealing 11 cheap household items that laugh in the face of electromagnetic pulses. Items so basic that most people overlook them, but so effective that they could save your life when the grid goes dark permanently. Let's jump right in, because knowing these could be the most important 30 minutes you spend this year. Item number 1, manual can openers and basic kitchen tools. Your electric can opener becomes a paperweight after an EMP. But a simple manual can opener for $8 will open every can in your pantry. And here's something most people never consider. That manual can opener could be the difference between eating and starving when stores are closed indefinitely. Let's talk about what you really need for a complete EMP-proof kitchen. A sharp knife costs $15, but it does the work of 10 electric gadgets. It cuts, chops, dices, and slices without ever needing power. Add a cutting board for $12 and you've got food prep capabilities that match any modern kitchen. A manual whisk for $6 beats eggs, mixes batters, and blends ingredients just as effectively as electric mixers. Hand crank egg beaters, which you can find at thrift stores for $3 to $5, can whip cream and mix heavy batters that would challenge electric appliances. Wooden spoons and spatulas never break, never need batteries, and handle high heat cooking that would melt plastic utensils. A mortar and pestle available for $15 to $20 grinds spices, makes pastes, and processes foods in ways that food processors simply can't match. But here's where it gets interesting. During Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, families survived for months using nothing but manual kitchen tools. While others waited for power restoration that took nearly a year in some areas, these families were cooking full meals, maintaining nutrition, and staying healthy with simple implements that never break down. Think about your current kitchen dependencies. Your coffee maker, blender, food processor, microwave, electric stove, garbage disposal, all dead after an EMP. But manual alternatives exist for every single function, and they often work better than the electric versions once you learn proper techniques. A hand crank coffee grinder produces better tasting coffee than electric grinders because it doesn't heat the beans during grinding. Manual pasta makers create fresh noodles that taste superior to dried store-bought versions. Hand-operated meat grinders process fresh meat more safely than electric models because you control the speed and pressure. The psychological benefits are enormous, too. Being able to prepare hot, tasty meals maintains family morale and provides a sense of normalcy when everything else feels chaotic and uncertain. Item number 2, strike anywhere matches and fire-starting materials. Fire is literally life. It's cooking, warmth, light, water purification, signaling, pest control, and psychological comfort all rolled into one ancient technology that an EMP cannot touch. But here's the sobering reality. Most people today have no idea how to start and maintain a fire reliably. We flip switches for heat, turn knobs for cooking flames, and push buttons for everything fire-related. When an EMP eliminates all of that, suddenly firemaking becomes a survival skill that separates the prepared from the desperate. Strike anywhere. Matches are the gold standard for EMP-proof fire starting. Unlike regular matches that need special striking surfaces, these can light on any rough surface, rocks, concrete, metal, even your fingernail in emergencies. A box costs $3 to $4 and contains 300 to 400 matches. That's potentially 300 to 400 fires for less than the cost of a coffee. But matches are just the beginning. Waterproof matches sealed in special containers work even after being submerged. Magnesium fire starters create sparks hot enough to light damp, tinder in terrible conditions. Fire-starting cubes made from compressed sawdust and wax burn hot and long enough to light wet wood that would otherwise be impossible to ignite. Here's a scenario that should worry you. It's day 3 after the EMP. Outside temperature has dropped to 35 degrees. It's been raining for 18 hours and your family is cold, hungry, and starting to lose hope. Your neighbors are huddled in their dark, cold houses, burning furniture and metal pans, and hoping someone comes to rescue them. But you step outside with waterproof matches, fire-starting cubes, and some dry tinder you stored months ago. Within 20 minutes, you've got a warming fire going and hot soup cooking over steady flames. Your family gathers around the fire warm and fed while you plan the next day's activities. That's the difference between hoping for rescue and taking control of your situation. And it all starts with having reliable fire-starting materials and the knowledge to use them effectively. The complete fire-starting kit should include Strike Anywhere, matches in waterproof containers, waterproof emergency matches, magnesium fire starters, petroleum jelly cotton balls. They burn for 3 to 5 minutes each, fire-starting cubes, char cloth or tinder, and a ferro rod as ultimate backup. Total cost under $30 for fire-making capability that lasts for years. But here's the crucial part most people skip. You must practice these skills before you need them. Can you start a fire with wet wood? Can you do it in wind and rain? Can you do it when your hands are cold and shaking from stress? If not, having the materials won't save you. Item number 3, hand crank emergency radios. Information becomes more valuable than food in disaster situations. Without phones, internet, or emergency broadcasts, you're flying blind in a world that's already dangerous and getting more unpredictable by the hour. But a hand crank emergency radio costs $25 to $35 and provides vital communication capabilities when everything else is silent. No batteries to die, no power grid to fail, just human energy converted directly into information access. When cell towers die, and according to the FCC, most have backup power for only 8 to 24 hours, radio remains the only reliable information source for civilian populations. Think about what you need to know after an EMP. Are authorities responding? Are there safe zones being established? Should you evacuate or shelter in place? Are there supply distributions happening? What areas should you avoid? Without information, every decision is a dangerous guess. During Hurricane Ian in 2022, entire Florida communities lost cell service for weeks, but local radio stations kept broadcasting vital information. Road closures, food distribution points, rescue operations, weather updates, and safety warnings. People with working radios had actionable intelligence, while others made deadly mistakes from lack of information. Modern hand crank radios often include multiple features in one device. AM/FM radio reception, NOAA weather alerts, flashlights, phone charging ports, and emergency sirens. One $30 device solves multiple survival problems and works indefinitely with just human power. But there's another communication aspect most people miss: two-way radios and walkie-talkies. Basic models without digital features can survive EMPs if stored properly, and they allow family communication when cell networks are down. FRS radios cost $20 to $40 per pair and work within 2 to 5 mile ranges depending on terrain. The communication advantage goes beyond just receiving information. You can coordinate with family members, neighbors, and other survivors. You can share intelligence about conditions, resources, and threats in crisis situations. Organized groups with communication capabilities survive, while isolated individuals struggle alone. Speaking of staying informed and organized, I've been researching comprehensive EMP preparation strategies beyond just household items. There's actually a detailed protocol that covers everything from electronic protection to long-term community building. It goes much deeper than what we can cover today, but I'll mention it again later if you're interested in taking your preparation to the next level. Item number 4, mechanical water filters and manual pumps. Water is the ultimate survival priority. You can survive 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And here's the terrifying reality. After an EMP attack, municipal water systems fail almost immediately. Why? Because they depend entirely on electric pumps, electronic monitoring systems, computerized treatment facilities, and digital control networks. The EPA estimates that over 90% of U.S. water treatment systems would be offline within hours of a major electromagnetic event. But simple mechanical solutions solve the water problem completely. Gravity-fed water filters like ceramic candle systems cost $35 to $60 and remove 99.99% of bacteria, viruses, heavy metals, and chemical contaminants. No electricity, no pressure systems, no electronic components. Just pour questionable water in the top and collect clean, safe drinking water from the bottom. These aren't primitive systems. They're the same technology used in disaster zones worldwide by relief organizations. They work in refugee camps, after hurricanes, during famines, and in post-war reconstruction. If they're good enough for international disaster response, they're good enough for your EMP preparation. Item number 5, candles, oil lamps, and manual lighting systems. Light isn't just convenience. It's psychological security, safety, and the foundation of maintaining normal routines when everything else feels chaotic. Take away artificial lighting for days or weeks, and people begin breaking psychologically before they break physically. Here's something that should concern you. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the average American household experiences only about 6 hours of power outage per year. That means the vast majority of Americans have never spent more than one night in total darkness. We're psychologically unprepared for extended blackouts, but emergency candles that burn for 100+ hours cost just $4 to $6 each. Oil lamps with adjustable wicks provide reliable, controllable lighting for $15 to $25. Add extra lamp oil for $8 to $10 per quart, and you've got weeks of lighting capability. LED lanterns with hand crank charging combine modern efficiency with manual power generation. If stored in Faraday cages before an EMP, they provide bright directed lighting that's more efficient than candles or oil lamps. A quality hand crank LED lantern costs $20 to $35. But here's what separates smart preparation from naive preparation: light discipline. In a post-EMP world where your house might be the only one with lighting, you could become a target for desperate people who see your illuminated windows as evidence of supplies and resources. That's why prepared people use blackout curtains, light-colored interior walls to reflect illumination efficiently, and strategic lighting placement that provides visibility inside without advertising to the outside world. You want the psychological and practical benefits of light without the security risks. Different lighting serves different purposes. Candles provide ambient lighting and heating. Oil lamps give adjustable brightness for tasks. Hand crank LED lanterns offer bright, focused illumination for detailed work. Each has advantages, which is why comprehensive lighting preparation includes multiple types. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. Families with adequate lighting maintain better mental health, make better decisions, and preserve normal routines that help children and elderly family members cope with crisis situations. Light equals hope, and hope is a survival requirement. Consider also the practical work benefits. Cooking becomes safer with proper lighting. Repairs and maintenance become possible. Reading and education can continue. Security monitoring is more effective. Light extends your productive hours and maintains capabilities that darkness eliminates. Item number 6, manual tools and hardware. When society hits the reset button after an EMP, your manual tool collection becomes more valuable than money. No power drills, no electric saws, no battery-powered anything. Just good old hammers, wrenches, hand saws, screwdrivers, and the knowledge to use them effectively. Here's a sobering statistic. According to recent surveys, over 60% of U.S. adults under 45 have never used a manual saw or wrench in their entire lives. FEMA's emergency preparedness reports warned that basic repair and self-reliance skills are disappearing in urban areas. We're not just digitally dependent, we're mechanically helpless. But imagine this scenario. It's day 5 post-EMP. A pipe bursts in your basement and water is flooding your foundation. No plumbers are coming. No YouTube tutorials are available. Your neighbors are helplessly watching their own homes deteriorate because they can't perform basic repairs. But you grab your manual tools and fix the problem in under an hour. The essential manual tool kit includes claw hammer $12 to $15, adjustable wrench set $15 to $20, hand saw $10 to $15, screwdriver set $8 to $12, pliers set $10 to $15, crowbar $8 to $12, hand drill with bits $15 to $20, level $8 to $10, and measuring tape $5 to $8. Total investment $90 to $130 for tools that will last decades and solve hundreds of problems. But tools are only valuable if you know how to use them. Can you actually saw a straight line by hand? Can you drive a nail without bending it? Can you make measurements and cuts that fit together properly? These skills take practice, and the time to learn is before the emergency. Advanced manual tools provide even more capabilities. Hand-operated drill presses for precision holes. Hand-operated metal cutting saws for heavy materials. Draw knives and hand planes for woodworking. Tin snips for metal fabrication. Each tool expands your problem-solving capabilities without depending on any external power source. Think about all the repair and maintenance tasks in your daily life that currently require electric tools. Fixing loose screws, cutting materials, drilling holes, measuring and marking, prying apart stuck items, tightening connections. All of this becomes impossible without tools, but completely manageable with basic manual equipment. In long-term grid-down situations, the person with tools and skills becomes the most valuable community member. While others wait helplessly for repair services that aren't coming, you're fixing, building, and solving problems. This isn't just about self-sufficiency. It's about becoming valuable to other survivors. Rural hardware stores have reported shortages of basic hand tools since late 2023. As more people recognize the importance of manual alternatives, the supply chain for simple tools is becoming strained, which means prices are rising and availability is decreasing. Getting your manual toolkit now while supplies are normal and prices are reasonable is strategic thinking. Item number 7, bicycles and human-powered transportation. After an EMP strike, the EMP Commission estimates that 90% of vehicles on U.S. roads could stop working instantly. Modern cars contain over 50 integrated circuits and microprocessors. When electromagnetic pulses fry those systems, your $40,000 SUV becomes the world's most expensive paperweight. But bicycles work perfectly. No circuits, no batteries, no software updates required. Just chains, pedals, gears, and human power. While roads fill with dead cars and panicked people, you can navigate around obstacles, take alternate routes, and maintain mobility when others are trapped. Here's a reality that should concern you. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, only 12% of Americans use bicycles regularly for transportation. Most bikes sit in garages collecting dust with flat tires and rusty chains. When you need transportation most, your bike might not even be functional. But transportation becomes critical in post-EMP scenarios. Maybe your child is stranded across town when the attack happens. Maybe you need to reach elderly relatives who live 10 miles away. Maybe you need to evacuate to a safer area or travel to find supplies and resources. Without working vehicles, these tasks become impossible on foot, but manageable by bicycle. Quality doesn't require expensive equipment. A basic mountain bike for $150 to $200, properly maintained, can handle rough terrain and carry significant cargo loads. Add a bike trailer or panniers for $30 to $50, and you can transport supplies, trade goods, or even injured family members. Maintenance becomes crucial because bike shops won't be operating normally. You need spare tires, patch kits, basic tools, chain lubricant, and replacement parts stored safely. A complete bike maintenance kit costs $40 to $60, but keeps your transportation working indefinitely. Consider also alternative human-powered vehicles. Adult tricycles provide stability for older family members or injured riders. Cargo bikes can carry enormous loads. Even simple scooters or skateboards provide mobility advantages over walking. But there's a security consideration too. Bicycles are quiet, which can be an advantage for avoiding detection. They're also easily hidden or carried where vehicles cannot go. In dangerous post-disaster environments, mobility that doesn't announce your presence becomes a survival advantage. The key is having transportation ready before you need it. Flat tires, broken chains, and mechanical problems that are minor inconveniences today become major crises when bike shops are closed and replacement parts are unavailable. Item number 8, mechanical locks and security hardware. Security doesn't become optional during emergencies. It becomes more critical when law enforcement is overwhelmed or unavailable. When desperate people are looking for resources, when normal social contracts break down, your ability to secure your home and supplies could mean the difference between keeping your resources and losing everything to looters. Your smart locks, electronic safes, and keypad security systems all become useless after an EMP. But mechanical locks, the kind you open with keys or combination dials, work exactly the same as they did 100 red years ago. Here's a nightmare scenario. It's night 7 of a total blackout. You hear footsteps outside, voices, someone testing your doors and windows. You need to access your defensive tools, cash reserves, or emergency communications equipment, but your electronic safe is completely dead. The digital keypad won't respond. The fingerprint scanner is dark, and you're locked out of your own security system while potential threats circle your home. Mechanical safes with dial combinations or key locks are immune to power loss, electromagnetic interference, and electronic failures. They cost more initially than digital safes, but they work reliably for decades without any external dependencies. Traditional door locks, deadbolts, padlocks, and manually operated security hardware continue working regardless of power availability. A good deadbolt costs $15 to $25 and provides security that electronic locks simply cannot match for reliability. Window security becomes crucial too. Simple slide locks, security bars, and manual latches secure entry points without depending on alarm systems that won't work anyway. Security film for windows costs $3 to $5 per square foot and prevents easy breaking while remaining invisible from outside. After Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico in 2017, crime rates exploded because normal security systems failed and law enforcement was overwhelmed with emergency response. Families who survived intact were those who could still secure their homes, access their defensive tools, and protect their remaining supplies from desperate neighbors. But security isn't just about keeping people out. It's about controlling access to your own resources. Mechanical locks on storage areas, supply caches, and tool collections ensure that your preparation investments remain available when you need the most. Consider also decoy security measures. Cheap locks on obvious storage areas while real supplies are secured elsewhere. Multiple layers of mechanical security that force intruders to make noise and spend time increasing their risk of detection or abandoning the attempt. The goal isn't creating a fortress, it's creating enough delay and difficulty that opportunistic criminals move on to easier targets. Most post-disaster crime is impulsive and targets obviously vulnerable homes. Basic mechanical security makes you a harder target without requiring expensive systems. Item number 9, rope, cordage, and fastening materials. In a post-EMP world, rope becomes incredibly versatile survival equipment. Paracord with 550-pound test strength costs $12 for 100 feet and solves hundreds of problems that electric tools and powered systems usually handle. You can secure shelters, create clotheslines, bundle firewood, make repairs, fashion carrying systems, build rope ladders, create pulleys for mechanical advantage, and even unravel paracord to create fishing line, solving thread or tripwires for security. But paracord is just one type of cordage. Different jobs require different rope. Climbing rope for heavy lifting, utility rope for general purposes, thin cord for detail work, elastic bungee cords for flexible fastening, and chain for permanent security applications. Duct tape deserves its legendary reputation among preppers because it replaces dozens of specialized tools and materials. It can patch holes in containers, clothing, and shelters. It seals joints and connections. It marks trails and creates signs. It provides temporary hinges and pivots. It secures items during transport. It even works as emergency bandages or splints in medical situations. A quality roll of duct tape costs $6 to $8 and provides solutions for months of problems. But cheap duct tape fails quickly. So investing in name brand tape that maintains adhesion under stress is worth the extra cost. Zip ties secure items quickly and permanently. They're perfect for bundling supplies, creating quick repairs, organizing equipment, and even emergency restraints if security becomes an issue. A bag of assorted zip ties costs $8 to $12 and provides hundreds of fastening solutions. Wire, both electrical wire and mechanical wire, handles specialized fastening jobs. You can create hinges, repair metal items, fashion tools, make springs and latches, and solve mechanical problems that rope cannot handle. Think about all the ways you currently use electricity to secure, fasten, or attach things. Electric drills for screws, powered staplers, hot glue guns, electric nail guns, pneumatic tools, all useless after an EMP, but rope, tape, ties, and manual fasteners work exactly the same way they did before electricity was invented. The prepared person has various fastening options organized and ready. Heavy rope for major jobs, paracord for general use, thin cord for detail work, duct tape for patches and seals, zip ties for quick connections, and wire for specialized applications. But there's a psychological benefit too. Having the ability to secure, repair, and organize your environment provides a sense of control when everything else feels chaotic. The simple act of bundling firewood or securing a tarp gives you productive activities that build confidence and maintain morale. Item number 10. Non-electric cooking and heating equipment. When the power grid fails, you lose more than lights and appliances. You lose heat, cooking ability, hot water, and food preservation. But simple non-electric alternatives solve all these problems using energy sources that are available everywhere. Wood-burning stoves or basic fire pits provide cooking and heating using fuel that's literally everywhere. Fallen branches, construction scraps, yard debris, old furniture, and paper waste. No gas lines to fail. No electric heating elements to burn out. No electronic controls to malfunction. But not all wood-burning equipment is equal. A simple fire pit costs $30 to $50 and works for basic cooking and heating. A rocket stove design burns wood more efficiently and produces less smoke, making it better for urban environments where smoke might attract unwanted attention. Portable camping stoves that use small propane canisters work perfectly after an EMP, as long as they have manual ignition systems rather than electronic starters. A basic camping stove costs $20 to $30, and propane canisters are $3 to $5 each. Each canister provides 2 to 4 hours of cooking time. According to the Energy Information Administration, over 40% of U.S. homes rely on electricity as their primary heat source. That means nearly half the country would be facing hypothermia risks without backup heating methods, especially during EMP scenarios. Manual coffee percolators produce better coffee than electric machines and work on any heat source. Dutch ovens designed for outdoor cooking can bake, roast, fry, and stew using nothing but fire and proper technique. Cast iron cookware is especially valuable because it works on any heat source, retains heat efficiently, and lasts for generations. Solar ovens represent an interesting middle ground. Simple models made from cardboard, aluminum foil, and black paint can reach 200 to 300 degrees using just sunlight. They cost $15 to $25 to build and cook food without any fuel consumption. More sophisticated commercial solar ovens cost $100 to $200, but can handle serious cooking tasks. Thermal cooking is another technique that saves fuel and provides hot meals. You heat food to boiling, then transfer it to insulated containers, coolers, sleeping bags, wrap pots where retained heat continues cooking for hours. This technique can cook rice, beans, stews, and soups using minimal fuel. The psychological benefits of hot food cannot be overstated. Hot meals maintain morale, provide comfort, and preserve the sense that life is manageable even in crisis situations. Cold food from cans keeps you alive, but hot meals keep you human. Food safety becomes crucial without refrigeration. Knowing how to cook food thoroughly, store it safely, and avoid contamination prevents illness that could be fatal when medical care isn't available. Item number 11. Manual personal care and hygiene systems. Hygiene becomes more critical during emergencies, not less important. Without modern sewage systems, water treatment plants, and waste management infrastructure, poor hygiene quickly leads to disease outbreaks that can kill more people than the original disaster. Manual toothbrushes and basic toothpaste maintain dental health without electric toothbrushes or pressurized water systems. Dental problems can become serious medical emergencies when professional treatment isn't available and antibiotics are scarce. Safety razors with replaceable blades work more effectively than electric shavers and don't need charging. A quality safety razor costs $15 to $20, and blade refills are $10 to $15 for a year's supply. Shaving cream or basic soap provides lubrication and steady hands do the work. Bar soap lasts longer than liquid soap, doesn't need dispensers or pumps, and works for personal washing, laundry, and dish cleaning. A few bars of quality soap can handle all your cleaning needs for months. Kel soap in particular is biodegradable and works for everything from body washing to clothes cleaning. Washboards for laundry cost $15 to $20 and clean clothes more effectively than many modern washing machines. Add a large basin, a wash tub, some basic soap, and you've got a complete laundry system that works without any infrastructure. But personal care goes beyond just cleanliness. Nail clippers, tweezers, scissors, and basic grooming tools help prevent infections and maintain health. Overgrown nails harbor bacteria. Splinters become infected without proper removal. And minor grooming issues become major health problems without attention. First aid supplies become absolutely critical. Bandages, antiseptic, pain relievers, anti-diarrheal medication, antihistamines, and basic prescription medications. These aren't exactly household items, but they're cheap, essential, and completely EMP-proof. Aspirin doesn't need electricity. Bandages don't need batteries, and iodine works the same way it did 100 years ago. The goal is maintaining health and preventing infections when professional medical care might not be available for weeks or months. A $30 personal care kit with manual tools can prevent problems that become life-threatening in grid-down situations. Feminine hygiene products, baby care items, and elderly care supplies become crucial for families with special needs. These items store well, cost little, and provide essential health maintenance that prevents bigger problems. Advanced preparation strategy and resource integration. These 11 household items form the foundation of EMP survival, but they work best as part of an integrated preparation strategy. Each item supports the others, and together they create a complete survival system that doesn't depend on any external infrastructure. For example, your manual tools help you build better fire pits for cooking. Your rope and fastening materials help you create water collection systems. Your lighting allows you to use tools safely after dark. Your transportation lets you gather resources that your other tools can process and prepare. The key insight is redundancy and integration. Don't just have one can opener. Have 3 stored in different locations. Don't just rely on matches. Have multiple fire-starting methods. Don't just count on bicycles. Have backup transportation options. But here's what I want you to understand. These household items, while essential, are really just the beginning of comprehensive EMP preparation. There are advanced strategies for protecting electronics, building community networks, establishing long-term food security, and creating sustainable post-grid systems that go beyond what any single video can cover. The investment in basic household items is minimal, under $400 for everything we've discussed today. That's less than most people spend on their monthly car payment, but it provides security for scenarios that could last months or years. Practice using these items regularly while life is normal. Don't wait for an emergency to discover that you don't actually know how to use a manual can opener effectively, start a reliable fire, or perform basic repairs with hand tools. Skills matter as much as equipment, and skills require practice. Build relationships with neighbors who have complementary capabilities. In real emergencies, prepared communities survive better than isolated individuals. The person with manual tools and knowledge becomes valuable to everyone around them, which creates mutual support networks that benefit everyone. The power grid is more fragile than most people realize, and EMP threats are more real than most people want to admit. But with basic preparation using simple household items, you can be ready for whatever comes next. These 11 items aren't just EMP-proof. They're disaster-proof, economy-proof, and future-proof. They work during hurricanes, blizzards, earthquakes, cyber attacks, supply chain failures, or any scenario that disrupts normal infrastructure. Pick 3 items from this list and get them this week. Not someday, not when you have more money, not when you get around to it. This week, because the time to prepare isn't when the emergency is happening. It's when supplies are available and life is still normal. The question isn't whether you can afford to prepare. The question is whether you can't afford not to. When the lights go out and stay out, which side of preparation do you want to be on? What household items do you already have from this list? What surprised you most? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video opened your eyes to simple preparation strategies, share it with someone who needs to see it. Remember, when everything complex fails, simple wins. Stay prepared. Stay safe.